Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much to all of you guys for attending to this new webinar. Today we're going to be talking about the dealer level diagnostics on a Kubota M7. We have chosen this model on this particular make because we honestly think that is one of the most important brands in the market right now, in the North American market. And not only that, we have been receiving a lot of feedbacks from our current customers asking for more functionalities to get deeper on the technical information. So that's why on the last months we have focused on this particular brand, on Kubota. We are very proud. We have grown a lot on our functionalities and the technical information, not only for Kubota, but for all the different models for this brand. And today we're going to be showing you a little bit more about the Kubota M7, so you can check our dealer level functionalities and also, of course, compare with the ones that are being offered by the manufacturer, by the dealer, by the official Kubota dealers. Okay. So right now, I guess all of you guys can see the main screen of the software for Jaltest AGV. We're going to start very quick doing just a checking on the communication mode. We're going to be working on the USB. But of course, we have always the possibility to work through Bluetooth, okay? All right, so right now we're gonna start over, but first let me remind you that if you have any questions, please feel free to type in your questions through the chat window, and our colleagues are gonna be able to answer those questions. And of course, feel free to reach us or send feedbacks or questions anytime you need any answers from us, okay? So first, of course, we need to go to our agricultural vehicles module. And in this case, we're going to be selecting the brand, Kubota. And then we just need to select the series first, which is going to be the M series, and then the right model, the particular model that we want to work with today, okay, which is going to be the M7 series. Doing this, we see this first screen, which is going to allow us to do some different options, okay? First of all, I would always go for a system scan. So clicking on this bottom here, system scan, okay? We're gonna be able to select first the connector that we want to work with. In this case, going to be the 9-pin connector. Later on, we're going to be looking at some other possibilities depending on the system we are going to be connecting to, okay? Because we could have also the ZF transmission connector, or even the Kubota proprietary connector when we are connecting directly to the engine, okay? But in this case, we're going to be using the regular 9-pin connector. And after that, we're going to be clicking on scan. So the system is going to start looking for all the different electronic control units in the vehicle, detecting them, and not only that, but also identifying, reading the fault codes that we have for each of those systems, okay? Right now, you can see that it's reading the transmission. And after we're done, we're going to be able to start working with each of those electronic control models, each of those systems individually, okay? Of course, right now, you see that those windows are expanded, but we can always, collapse or expand the focus as we like, okay? So right now, I'm gonna start working with the engine. So selecting the engine, I can click on connect here in the top right of the screen. So I'm gonna be accessing to the full capabilities for this particular engine, okay? Right now, the software is asking us to select the system variant in case we have the engine with a particular filter, or if we have particular filter and the SCR, okay? I'm gonna go for that second option. So now we're gonna be able to check all the diagnostics functionalities for this specific Kubota M7 series engine. Okay. Today we're focused on this brand, on this specific model, but of course it doesn't matter if we are working with a Kubota or with any other tractor, any other brand or model in the market. We are going to be always looking at the same menu, okay, same functionalities, same icons, but of course with different capabilities depending on the brand. Okay, starting from the very beginning, we're going to be able to read fault codes. Okay, so whenever we want to read the fault codes, this is going to look the screen. So we see the different fault codes that we have for this particular engine. We can check more information about the fault code. So let's see, for instance, this one, engine coolant temperature sensor, short circuit to ground. We can check more information about it. So here we are getting freeze frame data, priority of the code, the date and the hour of the last occurrence, okay? And also, even more important than that, is going to be the components that could be related with that fault code. Okay. In this case, of course, one of them could be the water temperature sensor or the coolant temperature sensor. And always, we're going to be able to also provide you guys more information about that specific component. For instance, about this coolant temperature sensor, we can see more information. So we're going to see how this sensor looks. Okay. And where is it located on the engine block? You see here with this red point, as well as some other values, for instance, resistance values and normal operation range. Okay. Imagine that we figure out that something is wrong with that particular sensor, with the coolant temperature sensor on this Kubota M7, and we want to replace that sensor. Then we're going to need to know the pinouts, okay, the schematics, the wiring diagrams. So here you see the icon, go to diagrams, and clicking on that, we're going to be able to do to check all the schematics of this particular tractor on the engine system. Okay. Again, later on, we're going to be able to see not only the schematics for the engine, but also for other auxiliary systems, transmission and armrest, central computer, and some others. Okay. So right now, let me do zoom out so you can see it better. There you go. But here you can see, for instance, that we have highlighted that specific component, that specific cooler temperature sensor, and we show you that it's connected on the pins 15 and 39. So by clicking on that part of the schematic, we're going to be able to see here the ECU, how it looks the pin out. So just counting the pins, we can easily realize where is this component, this sensor connected. So in case we need to replace it, we are going to have all the information needed. Okay. So let me go back. Of course, right now we are talking only about that particular component that was related with the fault code that we were getting, that coolant temperature sensor. But if we click on here, show component list, we will be always able to check any other components on the tractor. Okay, same thing. If we select any other, we're going to be able not only the how it looks, but also where is it connected and everything. Okay, so coming back to diagnostics menu, remember freeze frame data, components related with the fault code, and fault code troubleshooting. Okay, let's see what we have here. Since this is a short circuit to ground, we can just click on here to see the document attached for the troubleshooting, and this is going to be providing us more information about how to fix that issue, okay, that particular short circuit to ground. Okay, we keep developing this troubleshooting, so of course, depending on the manufacturer and the model, we are going to have a full repair guides, step-by-step guides on how to fix each fault code. Okay. Once we have read the fault codes, imagine that we have solved those issues. We're going to be always able to, of course, clear those fault codes or remove them from the ECU. Okay. Then some more things that we can check on this Kubota M7 series when we are working with the engine system. Of course, system data, which is quite basic information from the ECU. Okay, right now we don't have that information because we are under demo mode. Then we're going to be able to monitor live data selection. Okay, so clicking on that, we're going to be able to check a really good number of different measurements on this particular tractor. We can drop them and just pick the pressure ones, the temperature ones, volume, speed, or just selecting all of them. We're going to be able to see, you see here, up to 9 different pages of information. So it's always useful to check that live data selection. Okay. Okay, let's continue now. And we go out from this menu of the monitoring live data selection. And the next one would be actuate components. Those are some components that we could be actuating for this Kubota M7 series on the engine system, okay? As for instance, the EGR valve, the heating relay, or the throttle valve actuator, okay? Then, very important, system check-ins. Okay, so in this case, we're going to be able to do the cylinder cutout just to check how the cylinders are performing. So imagine that we want to check the injector 3, let's say. So let's see how we can do this. Okay, always once we select the action, the software JALTEST is going to be providing you information about the test actuation that you're about to perform. Okay, so that information is very important to read. We always suggest all the technicians, all the Jaltest user to check that information in order to know what is this actuation about. Okay. Once we're good, once we review all those instructions, we can click on the check mark, and we are going to be looking at the initial conditions. Okay, those are initial conditions that we need to meet in order to be able to perform the action. Okay, in this case, for the cylinder cutout, we need to have, of course, the engine at idle. Then we need to have the engine at service temperature. Okay, the gear in neutral position, and then the parking brake activated. Once we have all those initial conditions met, we can click again on the check mark. And we are going to start with the cylinder cutout. We said that we want to check the cylinder 3, so we select the cylinder, check mark again, and we're going to be able to turn it on and turn it off so we can see the different results after doing that. Okay, we can even graph those results or even select 2 different cylinders at the same time. Okay, imagine that we want to check the cylinder 3 and the first one, the 1, same thing. Okay, we select them, we grab them, we turn it off, turn it on, and grab the results. Okay, this was on system check-ins, but we're gonna be also able to change parameters. Okay, here basically we're gonna be able to display the current injectors that we have installed on the tractor, but also change the injectors. So in order to calibrate to add a new injector, we're gonna be able to do it with Jaltest. Okay, of course, reading first the instructions, then initial conditions. We click on check. And now, in case that we're replacing an injector, we're going to be able to just type in here the code. Okay. Click on the check mark, and we should be all set with the injector coding. Okay. I'm showing you these actuations just for you to have an idea on how simple it is to perform that kind of capabilities with our software. Okay. Right now, again, we're under the simulation mode, but if we're connected to a real tractor, to a real vehicle, it's going to take exactly the same amount of time. It's going to be as simple as I'm showing you right now. Okay. For some of those changes, for instance, for the injector coding, you can see here some additional information, some other instructions for the software that is asking us in this case to turn off the ignition and wait approximately for 5 seconds. That's why we have here this this clock. So we turn off the ignition, and after 5 seconds, we should be good to turn it on, and the injector should be cold. Okay. Let's go now with other important menu here, maintenance. Okay. I'm saying this is very important because this is where we are going to be able to find the regions, okay, the particular filter regeneration, which is, as you may know, very, very important in the industry, and of course also for this Kubota M7 series, okay? So by clicking here, particular filter regeneration, we're going to be able to start performing the reading, okay? Again, it's always important to read the instructions, but here is going to be even more important because on this specific series, M7 series for Kubota, we have a specific button on the vehicle, okay, that needs to be not activated in order to be able to perform the reading. Okay, so this bottom here, okay, you can read here, in case there is a particular filter regeneration inhibition switch, make sure that is not activated. Okay, so that's the switch that you need to look at your vehicle, okay, and have and you can have it activated in order to start the reading. Okay, after that we click on the check mark, and again, same thing, initial conditions first, and once we meet those initial conditions, we're going to be able to start the reading. Okay. Of course, in real life, this is going to take some time, okay, to perform the reading, depending on the vehicle and the manufacturer. Could take like 30 to 40 to even 50 minutes, okay. And once we're done, again, the software is going to be asking you if you wanna check the results of that actuation of that region. And if we click on yes, we're going to be able to see the graphs and how the engine speed, the temperature were changing as we were performing the region. Okay. Then, of course, we have here in this particular filter some other actuations. For instance, we have the regeneration of the counter restart and the differential pressure reset. Okay, same thing. Well, this is something very important to be pointed out for those that are familiar with Jaltest. Maybe you know about it, but this is the expert mode. Okay, so anytime that we are about to perform a critical actuation on any vehicle, the system, the software is going to ask you for an expert mode password. Okay, that's a password that we provide to all the Jaltest user, so they can decide if they have some technicians that they have the knowledge to perform these actuations. Of course, they're going to be providing them that expert mode ping, but in case they have others that maybe they're just in training or they don't have that knowledge to perform some critical actuations, so they're not going to be able to do it because they don't have that password. Okay. And of course, last option here would be the data recorder. So in case that we want to record everything we're doing on the vehicle, we're going to be able to do it and then show it to, I don't know, maybe the shop manager, another colleague, another technician in the shop, or even the client. Okay, just to show them what you found and what you were working on the tractor. Okay. Also, right now I'm going to disconnect from the engine, and we're gonna start working with some other systems. Okay, here I wanna point out also that related with the engine, we have the after treatment system. Okay, the exhaust gas treatment system here, which is a separate system, but of course it's gonna be related with the engine as well. And here basically is gonna be related with the AdBlue system. Okay. So again, just selecting, we can select the connector first. Okay, here you can see that we have two different options. Okay, connection 1, which is the 9-pin connector I showed you before, and connection 2, which is the Kubota proprietary connector. Okay, and which is the connector, as I said before, that you plug directly to the engine. Okay, that's very important. For instance, for some Kubota tractors, and of course for some stationary engines, Kubota stationary engines, where you don't have any other connector than this one. Okay, but on the M7 series is going to be a bit different because we are always going to have this green 9 green pin connectors, so maybe that's the way to go. Okay, clicking on connect. We're going to be connecting to this AdBlue system. And about the functionalities, you can see that we have pretty much the same menu. Okay, we're going to be able to read the fault codes. Okay, again, having the same information, having more information about the fault codes, component related with the fault code, and even the troubleshootings. Okay, we can clear the fault codes. We can monitor some live data selection related with this specific system, in this case, the AdBlue system. Okay, that's a very important feature as well that we have added on one of the latest versions of the software, that we can add triggers. Okay, so imagine that you want to add a trigger and have a set up like an alarm. So whenever we reach some values on some of those specific measurements, you're gonna activate that trigger. Okay, that's a really cool feature that we, as I said, we just added on one of the latest versions of the Jaltest software. Okay. Then of course we can actuate components. Okay. Basically, those are going to be temperature relays. Okay. Here's and here you can see also some other system check-ins. I would say like the most important one is going to be this one. Okay, the AdBlue def injection. Okay. Again, instructions first. Initial conditions, engine must be stopped, ignition on, and AdBlue injector removed. Okay, that's very important. Okay, that always when we are about to do the system checking, the AdBlue injection, we need to remove first the injector. Okay, that's something that we need to do. Okay. Same thing here. Okay, the switch. We need to switch off the ignition key and wait for 5 seconds. Okay. This specific checking is very important. Okay, just to know that the 1 second here. Let me see here. Okay, sorry, I was having here a technical problem. We're okay to keep going on this. Okay, then parameters that we can change. Okay, again, same thing. Imagine that we remove the AdBlue injectors. So exactly the same thing as I showed you before. We're going to be able to codify the new injector. Okay, this should look exactly the same as I showed you before with the injectors on the engine system. There we go. Right. So just introducing the new injector code, we're going to be able to just calibrate and add the new injector. And this is pretty much what we have for this AdBlue system that, as I said, is not on the engine, but is strongly related with the engine. Okay. Coming back to the engine, just one more thing that I think I missed showing you guys on the engine. Okay. Which is going to be another important part of the software. And that's going to be the vehicle technical data. Okay. I want to show you that information just for you to have an idea on the amount of information that we are providing the technicians to help on their daily basis on the shop. Okay. So here, for instance, we're going to find a bunch of information. Okay. There we go. So we're going to be able to check specifications, engine distribution options. Okay. We're going to be able to check temperatures, even more important than that, tightening torques for all the different components. Okay, on the vehicle. Also very important is going to be right? Detecting torques, the adjustments and tolerances, okay? And as I said, that's very important information that we have for this Kubota M7 series that I wanted to show you today, okay? So right now, let's say that we are done with the engine and also with the AdBlue system, the one that we were looking at as well. And before going with the rest of the systems on this Kubota tractor, we are gonna be launching a poll, okay, which is very important for us in order to know more information about you guys, what you value the most in Jaltest. So right now, I guess you have the poll on the screen. So please, if you can, just select one of those options. So we would like to know what do you value the most with Jaltest. That's important information for us for upcoming versions of the software, so we know where you guys want us to focus, right? So we have technical information, we have advanced actions, we have extensive core coverage. So if you think that we need to keep growing the coverage, or if you prefer, or if you want us to focus on the troubleshooting and also the repair guides for those fault codes. Okay, so thank you very much for your answers on that poll. Now we're gonna move to a different system. Okay, let's say that we want to work with the transmission now. Okay, let's see some cool stuff here for the transmission. We select transmission. So here we're gonna have some different options. Okay. Um, First, I would like to show you the power shift transmission for Kubota. Okay, and compare the CZF semi-power shift transmission. Okay, basically it's going to be the same transmission. Okay, but I can say that the ZF transmission is going to be the most complete one. Okay, the TZU PST transmission, that's the one that the all the Kubota dealers, the technical service, the official technical service for Kubota, have in their shops. Okay, which of course they're going to allow you to this transmission system is going to allow you to work on any Kubota and perform any actuation that you have on Kubota. But we have also the access to the full ZNF transmission that we have developed with the full ZF um, transmission software. Okay, clicking on here, you can see the ZF connector. Okay, you're gonna have that connector on your Kubota tractor as well, and selecting that, you're gonna be able to access to the transmission. That's the ZF proprietary connector, of course. And again, we're gonna be able to read the fault codes, clear them, check the wiring diagrams as we see before. Okay. But in this case, I want to check with you guys the most important thing here, okay, which is going to be the calibration, okay? So here, for instance, we're going to have the clutch pedal potentiometer calibration, okay? So this is going to be needed if, for instance, the pedal clutch is not working, okay? Or if the tractor goes jumping, so we need to get that clutch pedal calibrated again, okay? Just clicking on the action, again, expert ping, and we're going to be able to check first information, and then, as always, initial conditions, and just perform the action. Okay, here is important initial conditions, not only the engine that must be stopped, but also the reverse drive lever in neutral position, same thing as the range shift lever, also in neutral position, and reversible driving seat, and the driving mode has to be normal mode, okay? With this ZF transmission, as I said, the most complete option, okay? Also, it's very important to show you guys here the temperature sensor, okay? Which is key on this Kubota transmissions, okay? Here it is. And I'm saying that this is key because we have the coverage not only for ZF but also for Kubota. Okay, that's something that that even if you're going to a Kubota dealer, that's an actuation that they need to have the full capabilities for the ZF transmission in order to have access to that action. Okay, and of course we do have that capability in our software. Okay, yes, perform this system checking related with the temperature sensor. Okay. Then coming back at the other options for the transmission, we can be talking here about the Kubota variable transmission, or as I said before, the TCU power shift transmission for Kubota. Okay, so specifically the capabilities that the Kubota dealers are offering for this vehicle. Okay, in this case, you can see here that we are not going to have the CF connector available. Okay, so we need to use the 9-pin connector, the same one as we were using for the engine before. We hit on connect. And here I would say that the most important things to show you guys today are going to be on the transmission. Okay, of course we can calibrate here the clutch pedal. Okay, we're going to be able to also check some other parameters here. Okay, calibration data, the range, shift, solenoid valves, and the feeding pressure. Okay, so I would say that this is going to be the maybe the most important actuation on this TCU PST transmission. Okay. Okay, so now we have seen also the transmission system. Let's move to some other auxiliary modules, auxiliary systems on this Kubota tractor. Okay, we can be talking about, for instance, the central computer. Okay, here we're gonna have two different systems, depending on the bottoms, depending on the parameters that we can control. Okay, for instance, let's check the first one, which is the VCU1, the body computer. We connect to that particular system, and here, of course, a part of the main functionalities that we always offer in each of those systems: read fault codes, clear fault codes, check the system data, check for the live data selection, so live measurements. We're going to be able to calibrate the accelerator pedal, okay, and also the parking brake angle sensor. And even more important than that is going to be the parameters that we can not only display but also modify, okay, under this system, under this VCU body computer system, okay. So here, for instance, you're going to be able to see a list on all the different parameters that we can modify, okay. Here I would say that, for instance, one of the most common ones, or let's say the most important ones, would be the unit configuration, okay? In case that you want to change the metric system for the imperial system, you're going to be able to do it. or for instance the rolling circumference of the tire, okay, in case you change the size of the wheels and you change the size of the tires, okay, so you're gonna need to come here and just set up the new parameters for that particular component for the tires, okay. I would say that those are the two most important ones on this first body computer system, the VCU1. Okay, so let's go now and check what we have on the VCU2. Okay, so the second system, the second option for the body computer. Okay, so we access here to the VCU2. Same thing, we can check the connector, but you see there's going to be through the 9-pin connector, so through the regular connector that we have on the tractor, on the Kubota tractor. We connect to the system, and here in this case, we're gonna have some other parameters different to the ones that I show you on the VCU1 that we can just display and of course modify and change. Okay. Here I would say like maybe the most demanded ones or the most important ones are going to be the one related with the number of the spool valves installed. Okay, so in case that you want to install a new spool valve, okay, I would say that those are the most important parameters that we can change here. Okay, of course, front loader, radar sensor, steering angle sensor, that one is also very important. Okay, so those are the ones that we can change on this VCU2 body computer system. Okay, here is number of the spool valves. Right now, you see that here we have, well, the number is changing because again, we're on the demo mode, but here just changing this number, we're gonna be able to change the parameter, modify it, and just set up the new number of the spool valves, as well as the external switch, for instance. Okay, if we're gonna relate one of those switches with a specific spool valve, we can do that through this system, through this variant of the VCU2 on the body computer. Okay. Also on this VCU2 body computer system, okay, that was on parameters, but we can come here to, let's see, to calibration, okay, and we're gonna have here a couple of interesting calibrations, okay, also very needed in the market, in the industry, okay. So here we have the rear lift calibration, okay. So when we change any sensor, for instance, or we need to change the hydraulic oil, okay, or the rear lift is not working properly, we can come here and just start that calibration, okay. Again, information about the actuation you're about to do, initial conditions, and then you're going to be able to start the calibration itself of the rear lift, okay. And also was saying the other important calibration is going to be the first one we have here on that screen. Let me go back. There we go. Let's finish with this, with the calibration of the rear lift. We show you the results, table with different results, as we always do after performing any calibration or any actuation with Jaltest. We always show you the results. Most of the times you're able to grab them and even print them, or take a screenshot and show it to your clients. You can include them on the diagnostic report that other times we have shown you with Jaltest. And then I was saying also that this calibration here, the steering angle sensor calibration, will be really important. Okay, specifically when we are talking about the auto steering system. Okay, so I think that should be all or almost done. Let's say that about the body computer systems, because of course we could go more in deep, but yeah, just for you to have a quick idea, about all the functionalities that we have for those systems, so you can check that. Of course, we have those dealer level diagnostic functionalities on this Kubota M7 series. Okay. So I'm going to disconnect now from the system. And the last system that we can look at, okay, is going to be the armrest control. Okay, so selecting the electronic module is going to be the last system that we can look at on this Kubota M7 series. Okay. Here in the armrest control, exactly the same thing. Okay, we can read the fault codes, we can clear them. As I said before, access into the freeze frame data and the fault codes, troubleshootings, wiring diagrams, schematics, tech live data selection. But then here we're gonna have some parameters that we can display and modify. Okay. For instance, we have here, let's see what we got here. Okay, the controllers, the lever controllers for the spool valves. And then on calibration, we're going to have some interesting functionalities. Okay, the potentiometer of the manual accelerator. Okay, remember that before we were showing you that possibility for the pedal, for the accelerator pedal, but in this case, this is going to be for the manual accelerator. Okay, that you know is very used also in the industry when the farmers are working with the tractors. Okay, and the same thing with the hydraulic lift. Okay, hydraulic lift control potentiometer or the front power takeoff switch and the rear power takeoff switch. Okay, those are going to be included here in the armrest control AREU system. Okay, so we do offer the calibration for those components on this Kubota M7 series. And I think that should be all. Of course, we could spend some more time looking at some other features on our software for this this Kubota tractor, this M7 series. But I think that's pretty good idea about everything we cover, everything we have for this specific tractor. And again, thank you very much for attending today. Feel free to ask any question through the chat window, as we said. And yeah, you're welcome to join us to next webinars, to check this information on our website, and of course, follow us on the social networks as well. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.